Hi, it's T. Carlson here. I love cinema and I love video games, but it seems like a lot of the time when the two collide, the results usually aren't that great. We have a lot of really horrible movies that are based on video games. We have a lot of horrible video games that are based on movies. A few years back, one of the most famous mascots in the gaming world got his first movie, and of course, it was successful and got a sequel. Today we're looking at Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a two-movie Steelbook collection of Sonic the Hedgehog from 2020 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 from 2022. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions on the films. So, nice close-up look at the box there with Sonic doing what he does best. Top of the backing card, side of the package, spines of the Steelbooks, bottom of the backing card, under there. You got more copyright info. And I take this off, underneath there, same stuff up on top. And then on the back, a nice shot of Sonic getting ready to most likely do battle with Dr. Robotnik. Now let's take a look at the Steelbooks. This is just a cardboard case, but there is a small cardboard divider between the two movies. Would have been nice if this had been a little more elaborate of a package, maybe a steel-style package. But at least they put the divider in there. I'm glad to see that. First of all, we have the Steelbook for the first film, Sonic the Hedgehog from 2020. Nice close-up of our hero there, spine text. Got a nice close-up of Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik on the back. This does include digital copies of both films. And then on the back here, we have ad for some other Paramount Pictures releases. We have two discs in here, of course. We have the Blu-ray disc that has the film and the bulk of the bonus features. And then we have our 4K disc, which has the film. Underneath the discs, we have a nice shot of Sonic running around there, and that looks very nice. We then come to the second film, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I do like this artwork here. It actually resembles an old Sega Genesis video game box. And then back cover's got Sonic and Knuckles standing head to head. Again, we get a code for the film. And on the back, they got an ad for some more Sonic the Hedgehog stuff. There's also an ad for some other Sonic merch right here. There's our Blu-ray copy of the film. If you buy Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on 4K in the regular package, the non-Steelbook version, it does not include a Blu-ray copy, so just a heads up there. And then underneath we have our 4K disc of the film. And then we have our inner art here. We got Tails and Sonic on one side. We got Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles on one, getting ready for a big showdown. I like the way that looks. I'll read the descriptions of the films as follows from the packaging. For the first movie, the world needed a hero, we got a hedgehog. Powered with incredible speed, Sonic the Hedgehog, aka the Blue Blur, embraces his new home on Earth. That is, until he accidentally knocks out the power grid and sparks the attention of super uncool evil genius Dr. Robotnik. Now it's Supervillain versus Super Sonic in an all-out race across the globe to stop Robotnik from using Sonic's power for world domination. Sonic teams up with the Donut Lord, aka Sheriff Tom Wachowski, to save the planet in this action-packed adventure that's fun for the whole family. And for the second film, the world's favorite blue hedgehog is back for a next-level adventure in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. After settling in Green Hills, Sonic is eager to prove he has what it takes to be a true hero. His test comes when Dr. Robotnik returns, this time with a new partner, Knuckles, in search of an emerald that has the power to destroy civilizations. Sonic teams up with his own sidekick, Tails, and together they embark on a globe-trotting journey to find the emerald before it falls into the wrong hands. Now, I admit, when I was a kid growing up, I was always more of a Nintendo kid than a Sega kid. I always had the Nintendo systems, and I was always playing the Mario games. But a lot of my friends and relatives had Sega Genesis systems, so I was certainly familiar with Sonic and certainly liked the character. I also remember watching the two animated series back in the mid-1990s as well. When the first Sonic the Hedgehog film got its trailer, a lot of people complained about the terrible redesign for the character, and this actually prompted them to delay the movie so they could redesign the character to look more like his video game counterpart. A decision that I think was a smart one on the account of Paramount Pictures, because what we get in the final film actually looks much better than those trailers. Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, is voiced by Ben Schwartz, and in the first film, it's something of a fish out of water story. He finds himself stranded on Earth after trying to get away from his home when there were people hunting for his power. He, of course, was told to keep himself hidden, and he does that, but just the same tries to enjoy his life. Well, everyone, of course, has the occasional sightings of the so-called Blue Devil. But when he sparks the power grid and gets the attention of evil scientist Dr. Robotnik, he has to team up with a small-town sheriff, and the two of them have to go on a cross-country journey to get Sonic's rings back, which are his transportation devices, in order to get to the next planet he'll go to in order to lay low and keep safe. The film has a pretty solid cast. James Marsden stars as Sheriff Tom Wachowski. You probably remember him best for playing Cyclops in the older X-Men movies. And it becomes something of a road movie and a buddy comedy. This guy and Sonic end up having a lot of chemistry and some very humorous scenes together, as well as some emotional ones. And you also get some other great casting as well. This is easily Jim Carrey's best comedic role ever since the 1990s, finally tapping back into that manic energy that made us fall in love with the guy in the first place. I mean, I had my reservations about him playing Dr. Robotnik, but he just has the time of his life playing this role. And every single time this guy is on camera, no matter how evil he is or dastardly his deeds are, you can't help but laugh, because Jim Carrey just has so much fun with the part, chewing up the scenery every single time he's on screen. And it is interesting seeing the journey these two go on, and of course the battles against Dr. Robotnik that are inevitable. That said, though, I did have a few minor complaints with the film. First of all, there is a sequence set in a biker bar with a lot of people getting drunk and rowdy. I really do question if this was really the right setting for something that had a PG rating. That said, the sequence is actually quite funny. And the other complaint I have is with the Rachel character, who of course is our main human character's sister-in-law. And this character just did not belong in this film. She's essentially an angry black lady stereotype that doesn't do the movie any favors. She feels more like she belongs in a Tyler Perry film. Overall, though, I do have to say, it is an action-packed, fun-filled comedy, adventure, action film for the whole family, and I don't think fans will be disappointed. I'm so glad we're finally starting to get good video game-based movies after all these years. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, of course, continues with Sonic still living in Green Hills and going out and trying to be a hero, much to the chagrin of his human companions who see him as being too reckless. Meanwhile, Dr. Robotnik, who's been stranded on a mushroom planet by Sonic, finds a way out back to Earth when he forms an alliance with Knuckles from the Echidna tribe, who wants to go to Earth and has his own reasons. The two form something of a bond, and they end up clashing with Sonic. Sonic, of course, isn't alone in his journey. He now has his new ally, Tails, who's come to Earth to try to help him and warn him about the potential problems. What follows is a quest around the world. Needless to say, Dr. Robotnik's got his eyes on these, and Sonic wants to keep them safe and out of evil hands. There's the inevitable battle that follows that, of course, everyone's going to be rooting for. And overall, it is a pretty worthy sequel. Unfortunately, the sequel does suffer from some pacing issues. It clocks in at nearly 2 hours, whereas the first film, I think, was barely 100 minutes. The biggest offender here is they brought back the Rachel character, which was unnecessary, and they have an entire subplot about her going to get married. This subplot gets a lot of screen time, and about halfway through the film, it's completely abandoned. The movie did not need this, and unfortunately, it is the movie's biggest flaw. That said, most of the movie is actually pretty entertaining. Idris Elba actually voices Knuckles and has a good time voicing the characters. And we get another great performance from Jim Carrey portraying Dr. Robotnik, who again has certainly found the role of his life after all these years. Both of these movies, I have to say, are quite entertaining despite their flaws, and I'm so happy to see good video game-based movies at long last. I really hope it's a sign of things to come. Supposedly, we will be getting a Knuckles series on Paramount Plus, as well as a third film, which is teased at the end of this one. Both movies look absolutely incredible in 4K. The wide color palette is very nice when you have all these colorful characters, both figuratively and literally, and some pretty diverse environments that go anywhere from coffee houses to some very worldly locales of significance. And there really aren't any major problems with the picture quality. The CGI work for the characters looks very nice. There's a lot of detail, a lot of color, a lot of deep dark black levels and shadow detail. It really is how a modern film should look on 4K, and I'm very happy with the results. Both movies have their share of EPK-style bonus features that you'll probably want to watch at least once. There's even a new short film starring some of the characters from the film on the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Blu-ray. So it's nice to see that we actually got a pretty decent supplement package here. Overall, I do have to say, despite the problems, these are very good films, and I think young fans will be interested in the comedy, the action, and the bright, bold characters. But I also think adult fans who grew up with these games are going to be pretty nostalgic as well, and they'll have a good time with them too. So I can definitely give this package a pretty strong recommendation. The steelbooks look absolutely gorgeous, the transfers are great, and the films themselves are as entertaining as can be. Are you a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog? What did you think of these feature films starring the character? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content because I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.